Really glad to be here. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everybody who showed up and to listen to me. And I think really we see the evidence of the power of social media, because I don't know Jason personally. I don't know anybody here personally. Not even the person who's active on social media, yet somehow they found me and brought me here. So I think this is a great way to show what you were talking about earlier, the power of just being out there. And I loved your questions. See, now we're probably getting somewhere. Because obviously the things that you've been talking about, the things you brought up, this is exactly the things that we all have in common here. Obviously, right? Experiencing different things as minority in a world where we all have different backgrounds. So I guess really what Jason mentioned on, I'm a person who, I'm a complication, so to speak. That goes also for what I do. People ask me, what do you do? And it's a weird question for me, because I usually jokingly say is that I just do the things that make me happy, and then sometimes it just works and it turns into a business. And I say that jokingly, but there is some truth to that. And so I'm here today as a founder, if you will, of several businesses, several ideas, but all I do is that I just follow my gut feeling, and then it just kind of takes me somewhere. So today I want to talk about the notion of obviously standing out from the crowd. Because this is the premises that Jason invited me here to talk about. Because I've kind of, at least you're talking in a public sense, I made a thing about using all those things that are supposed to be to my disadvantage and use them to propel myself in getting advantages. And one of the best things that I do to enjoy with my current situation is that I get to do a lot of talks. I get to do a lot of businesses invite me, a lot of schools invite me to do motivational talks or talk about business, entrepreneurship, yada, 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 you name it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And one of my favorite crowds are students. I'm usually a lot in schools, universities, high schools, and I love students because they're not afraid to ask the difficult questions. And so what usually happens every time I'm in a school, I do my talk, and at the end, when we have a question and answer session, what I do is that I politely ask all the teachers to leave the room, close the room, and then I tell all the students that, you know, this is a safe zone. I want you to ask me absolutely anything you want to know. No question is too stupid, no question is too complicated, no dumb. You know, the teacher's not here, so feel free to ask me anything. And the reason I do this is that you always get amazed at the questions that young people have. Like things that you forgot about, or things that you don't think about anymore. So I love that section. And what I love about it is that one thing that never fails to come up, no matter what school it is, no matter if it's all white school, all black school, mixed school, the one thing that always shows up is this. They're not afraid to ask me, okay, well, we get a question. Okay, everything you talked about, how is it like for you as a minority to make it in a environment where you are one of the few? Or what are the challenges that you face as a minority? What, it always shows up in one way or another. You always ask me the question about being a minority. And I love that, and I usually tell them it's a good question, no doubt. But I think you're approaching it from the wrong direction. Because what you're asking me is that, what are the challenges you faced as a minority, right? Which is a legit question. But I usually tell them, none. And those are, okay, now you're lying to us. I was like, no, you're not listening, because rather than having faced challenges, the fact that I am a minority is the reason why I've succeeded. And I said, I understand why this question is errors, as I jokingly say, because if you Google just the word minority, right? This is what shows up on Google, right? It tells you that a minority group is usually a group of people who experience relative disadvantages, right? We all can attest to this, is that as a minority in a certain situation, you are at a disadvantage. And this is what we feel. No one can tell you what to feel. This is what you feel. This is what being told from outside, is that as a part of this group, you are, by definition, going to challenge. But then I usually tell the students, but if you dig deeper into this word, right, and you get like a bigger definition of what it means, there are two words in this description that sticks out to me that I usually like. And it's smaller and it's different, right? Because as a minority, you're a small part of a smaller group. You're different from the majority. And I usually turn it around. I said, okay, can anyone give me an idea of a dream job, right? And most of the students, they always have dream jobs. I want to be a YouTuber. That's like very popular right now. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber. I said, okay, perfect. Why are you not a YouTuber already? He said, well, because it's hard. Why is it hard? Because there are a lot of people who already are YouTubers. Oh, okay, interesting. So those that you follow, what is it about them that made them successful? Well, because they're one of few. Because they're different from the rest. Okay, interesting. Okay, so you just use the same words for describing somebody who is above the rest, right? He's different from the rest. Cristiano Ronaldo, why is he the best football player? Because he's different from the rest. He's one of few. Same word to use for the word minority, right? So for so many years, I've been fascinated by this notion. I was like, so is it me who's looking at it the wrong way, or is it, because let's all be real, right? We all in circumstances that we can't help, right? We are born into certain circumstances and we can't do anything about them. And no matter if you're on the left side or right side of this, you will face challenges in life, but are not based on actions that you're taking. They're just based on the lot that life gave you, right? So what it usually fascinates me about this notion is that, okay, we come from generation which is given, this is what you have, this is what you have to work with. So then I've said to